Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be doing, I think I have like 15 battles here. I'm using this ultra meta team of Deoxys with Psycho Boost, Rock Slide, Registeel with Focus Blast, and Flash Cannon and Azumarill with Ice Beam and Hydro Pump. So I land a very positive lead. Unfortunately, my moves are don't deal super effective damage. He switches into Altaria, so I'm going to look to burn a shield, hopefully. And then I'll switch out into Azumarill. So I do get the shield, and that's amazing for me because an Ice Beam actually would KO at this range anyways. So that's a very good case scenario for me. And I'm going to overcharge a little bit and then go for the Ice Beam. So I get the shield, which is great. For some reason I won that CMP tie. And then going to look to charge up a little bit more and then land this Ice Beam. My opponent does a really nice switch into Venusaur to conserve their Altaria, and I'm getting Razor Leaf down, so this is totally fine though. I am going to go into Registeel, and then I have like a very positive matchup against both Pokemon in the back, especially with shields up, so I'm not going to take any risks. And then I'm going to switch out into Deoxys and going to look to counter down, I suppose. I could no shield against this Bastodon, but it's totally fine. And I'm going to look to land a bunch of counters, and then I'm going to do the Rock Slide, which is resisted, but I need to chip away at this Bastodon anyways. And then here comes Altaria. So my opponent does a really nice job. And I'm going to throw up the Rock Slide, because at the health I have, I'm confident I can get to a Psycho Boost before fainting. And I definitely would not get to a Rock Slide. Well, maybe I would. Questionable. But with one more counter, and no, I probably wouldn't. So that's why I like Psycho Boost. Able to get to charge moves a little bit quicker. Only 5 counters to get to one, because it's only 35 energy. So able to take that first win. Very nice. So I actually kind of like the Psycho Boost Rock Slide variant. It allows me to have a charge move. I want a stab charge move that's 35 energy, which is, pretty 10 energy cheaper for Deoxys. But unfortunately, it leaves me like vulnerable in this situation against Registeel. And I notice a lot of my opponents are playing it quite well. I think this is an example where they just double Flash Cannon, and since they I don't know if they know. Anyways, I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide. As soon as I go for the Rock Slide, you should just stay in as the Registeel and then just land another Flash Cannon, because like throwing the Rock Slide would mean that it wouldn't KO. So I'm just gonna look to counter down after this. And then I'm going to throw the Rock Slide onto this Victory Bell. Kind of wish it was a Psycho Boost, but that's totally fine. And they switch it into Victory Bell. And I forgot how little energy Leaf Blade is, because I ended up getting hit by this Leaf Blade. And it does a pretty decent chunk. I'm into the yellow. The Shadow Victory Bell. Quite nice. And they actually end up shielding. Probably because they think they can outpace me. But I don't think they realized I slightly overcharged on that last one. So, and I get the KO, and then here comes Azumarill. I'm definitely gonna be able to hit this Flash Cannon before this Azumarill can get to an Ice Beam or Play Rough or Hydro Pump. I'm hoping that's a CMP tie, and I really should just, I don't know why I did that switch. It was kind of a dumb switch, and then they Play Rough me. And I'm still okay. Like, this Azumarill's at half health right now. I'm going to be able to land a Hydro Pump. Expect this to be another Play Rough. My Pokemon are pretty low health. My Deoxys and my Registeel. So I'm going to look to Ice Beam, which I don't think KOs. Or it actually does KO at this range. And blah blah blah. And we are going to go into this Registeel. It's fine if it not Focus Blast, Flash Cannons me. Come back in with Deoxys and just go for the Rock Slide. I could just counter down, to be honest, but why not Rock Slide? And able to take that second game. And we go into this next match against Skarmory. So this is like an okay matchup for me. I'm doing neutral with all my moves except for Psycho Boost. But I do want to bait out the Mud Boy, so I switch out to tank this Sky Attack. And we're going to see the Mud Boy. And I'm going to go for the Focus Blast. And hopefully I'm able to do a lot of damage with this, which I am. And I was hoping that I would survive this, but because of the Sky Attack, I couldn't. And I decided to go back in with Deoxys and then look to farm down by countering. I could have Psycho Boost, but I'm just going to take these two Mud Bombs. My opponent switches into Skarmory, totally fine. And I'm going to look to apply a lot of pressure, especially since I haven't shown Psycho Boost yet. And then we end up at a CMP tie. I have 2 shields anyways, so I'm going to look to land this Rock Slide. And then I think I end up Psycho Boosting right near then, and should KO. I probably could have stayed in, to be honest, but I was able to bubble down anyways. And I met with Azumarill in the back, probably an Azumarill with Play Rough, which doesn't put me. I'm still okay because I haven't up his shield. So let's see. Sometimes not having Play Rough, oftentimes you end up in the mirror match, which is not desirable, but it's not terrible. You lose the mirror match, but Hydro Pump Ice Beam gives such nice coverage, and you're going to see a little bit later how critical. And then I timed this, and then I realized that I probably didn't need to time it. I probably should have just did one bubble earlier because I had a Psycho Boost ready, but that's fine. And I'm going to look to land this Ice Beam. When it comes to Play Rough, it's like 6 bubbles for the first one, 5 for the second one. It's like 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. So you can kind of work at the timing pretty well. And we're going to go into this next match. Deoxys into Ninetales. So the Ice Beam would hurt, but it's going to take 10 charms, 15 turns, which is just over. Let's see here. So I'm banking that this is not Ice Beam. It seemed a little too early, and it was. And I'm going to go for the Rock Slide. The Ice Beam probably would have KO'd, almost for sure. And then I'm going to look to counter down, and they actually... I switch out into Deoxys, save the energy, just because both those moves are resisted. One is double resisted, Psycho Boost. And they actually go for the Psychic. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I go for the Focus Blast, hoping to connect, which is going to deal neutral damage. Actually not enough to KO. And they switch out into Charizard. Really nice switch by my opponent. And look to land the flash cannon, and then the only reason I put this flash cannon, even though it's resisted, is because I want enough time so I can switch out to my Azumarill, which I do. And this Blast Burn, Dragon Claw, Overheat, whatever it is, ends up being Overheat. That's actually like a pretty substantial amount of damage, but the attack dropped by 2 stages, so now I'm not even worried about another Overheat, because it's going to do 50% less, which would be about a third. Ends up being a Dragon Claw, which absolutely does nothing. And here comes this Bronzong. It's going to be able to land the Psychic, but I'm going to have a shield, and I'm going to KO with Ice Beam. So another like pretty clean win. Pretty interesting team so far. The grind to rank 10 is going to be pretty tough. I think I end up, my initial rating was like 2,000 or something like that. 2,050 or something like that, 2,080. I think this is my last set in rank 6. And I'm going to look to land a bunch of these counters. Again, I'm going to follow a pretty similar game plan. And then I'll just catch this guy. Oh, no, actually don't. Do I just stay in there? He didn't shield, so looks like I'm just going to stay in. Oh, they end up going into Lantern, which actually Lantern Electric in the back is actually pretty dangerous for my team. So, and it actually ends up being Water Gun Lantern. And I decide to land the Psycho Boost. I believe Psycho Boost actually does more damage than Rock Slide in this scenario because of, well, after the debuff, like it might actually not be worth it, so that's why you gotta do it last minute. And I believe this is gonna be Thunderbolt. I'm gonna shield anyways. I have 2 shields, and I should be able to land this Focus Blast before this Lantern gets another charge move. And I end up connecting, and then let's see what's in the back. Ends up being Azumarill, which is totally fine. I'm going to be able to land this Flash Cannon, which if it goes unshielded, it's going to do about 45%. And I was trying to catch the Hydro Pump, but this is fine. Ends up being Hydro Pump. This allows me to get to another Flash Cannon. It does allow the Azumarill to try to come out of this matchup with energy, but it's going to be a very delicate situation on this Azumarill side. And I was hoping to catch it, and then they ended up switching out, which is fine with me. The Sky Attack's only going to do about a third. And I'm going to look to overcharge a little bit. I debated farming down, but I decided it wasn't worth it. Skarmory's going to... I'd rather like waste Skarmory's energy, and then it's like a 2v1 right now. So, but it's actually going to be pretty close, because they're going to be able to get to... oh, they actually end up having a Hydro Pump. So they must have Ice Beam Hydro Pump. And this matchup is actually pretty close, and we lag a little bit. So I'm like looking in the window, and I'm not able to switch. But it ends up just being an Ice Beam. And to be honest, I could have got to it, but I'm going to be able to outpace this Azumarill with Registeel as long as I survive the bubbles, which end up being the case. So GG. And we go into this next match. These are my first matches in rank number 7. And again, I lead Deoxys into Altaria. And I think this matchup was pretty interesting. I'm going to land the Rock Slide. So I beat Altaria in the 0 and the 1 shield. I'm able to connect with that counter, which is huge for me. And I'm looking to land another Rock Slide. They end up shielding, so I'm like, okay, immediately switch out into a Azumarill. As long as it's not an electric counter, as long as it's not a Lantern, I should be able to win the matchup with a little bit of energy. Ends up being Victory Bell, so then I'm able to KO the Shadow Victory Bell. And then here comes Altaria. Again, this Sky Attack does about a third. Nothing too crazy. And these Dragon Breaths are double resisted, but they do start adding up. And I'm going to look to overcharge a little bit and then overcharge too much. So then the Altaria is able to win CMP tie as it should because it has the higher attack. And we're going to see what's in the back. It ends up being a Azumarill. I could have Ice Beamed, but it's alright. I have a shield advantage, and I'm going to go into Registeel and just look to like land 2 Flash Cannons. So I think I end up going like, including, I did like a 5-0 run right after my 105 because I was actually a little shocked that I could play another 5 battles. So I think I went like 19-1 with this lineup. Let me know if there's another lineup you want me to try. This grind to rank 10 is going to be pretty tough. I need like 800 and something more points. So I switch out into Deoxys just to preserve some health, and ends up being Play Rough. And then I'm going to be able to counter down. So seeing a lot of the same teams, Altaria, Registeel, Azumarill. To be fair, I'm using 2 of them. Yeah, like the closed meta is kind of weird, but it's very narrow. So again, in this matchup, as Registeel, you definitely want to go and land the Flash Cannon, which actually should draw a shield or do a lot of damage. And I'm looking to land this Rock Slide. Again, it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's where Thunderbolt would be pretty clutch. But Deoxys is still able to beat Registeel in the 1 and 2 shield matchups. So they switch out. And I'm like, okay, this Rock Slide's going to do way more damage to the next Pokemon than it is with against Registeel. But they end up going to Wishcash. Fine by me. I'm going to build up 2 an Ice Beam. Or build up 2 a Hydro Pump and then throw the Ice Beam. The Hydro Pump would KO at this range. The Ice Beam wouldn't. But it would put it pretty low regardless. And I think they really want to win Switch Advantage to avoid Deoxys and Registeel matchup. They end up shielding. Totally fine by me. And I'm spamming this Ice Beam. And they end up getting to the Mud Bomb first, which they should because they have that higher attack. And we're lagging a little bit. And they end up shielding again, and they switch out into Deoxys, or into Registeel. I switch out into Deoxys. I think I end up shielding. There goes the Flash Cannon, and then I'm gonna look to counter down. And this, here comes the Swish Cash. I'm gonna land the Psycho Boost. This is where Psycho Boost is pretty clutch, able to do neutral damage to this Wish Cash. And then I think I end up aggressively farming down. And then I'm going to look to land this Rock Slide. This is already a 2-stage debuffed Rock Slide, so not going to do a lot of damage. But enough. I could have landed a Psycho Boost there, but I was trying to get to another Rock Slide. And I think I go into Registeel just to wait for them to burn the energy. And then I'm going to switch out into Azumarill. Azumarill has like a 1 bubble lead. It does take the same amount of turns to get to Sky Attack from Altaria as it does take to get to Ice Beam, but because Altaria has a higher attack, it would win the CMP race. I'm able to KO. I'm not sure going to show all 15 battles. This kind of gets, I basically face the same 3 or 4 Pokemon over and over again. I think there's one, I have a couple good matchups. One against a Lantern, and then one against, well, I guess I beat the Lantern, and then one against a Haunter. Or I had a couple Clefable matchups, which is actually interesting. I'm pretty sure Clefable wins the 1 shield. Yeah, Clefable wins the 1 shield. and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna land the Psycho Boost, and I end up putting the Psycho Boost into Jirachi, which actually not very good. And then I switch into Registeel because it's gonna be able to resist all of Jirachi's moves. But these Confusions and Doom Desires actually like add up to quite a bit of damage. Here comes the Doom Desire, and then I'm gonna overcharge a little bit, and then I'm gonna look to land this Focus Blast. They end up shielding, which is totally fine. I'm gonna be able to survive another Doom Desire. I won't survive the Confusions and the Doom Desire to the next one, probably. Actually, maybe I would. It'd be kind of close. These Confusions are adding up. And this Focus Blast should KO. And we are gonna see an Azumarill come out. And I'm gonna look to land this Flash Cannon. And I'm going to let this burn some energy. I probably could have shielded, got to another one, but I'm okay. I think I shield this. Not sure the best shield, but I'm still in a very favorable matchup right now. Okay, and then I count it. And this is where I'm like, oh, I could just switch to turn earlier and then got off the Psycho Boost and then KO'd. But this is totally fine. I debate bubbling down, and then you end up in like this visual lag where you're still doing fast moves, but you don't see your charge moves, so you're not able to do them. So it's kind of weird. And then here comes a Clefable. Oh, they had Clefable in the back, not a Registeel. And this Hydro Pump is going to KO. Okay, I have like a bunch more matches, but to be honest, they're like pretty much the same teams over and over again. So I think you got a gist of how to play this team. So I'm going to end this video here. Yeah, because I played so many Altaria leads and then Registeel and Azumarill, so many of them, but this is Go Battle League. So hopefully you found that helpful. Let me know down in the comment section below what team you want me to run, and then maybe I'll give your team a try, and then we'll see our road to rank 10. So I'll leave it there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.